Hi, I'm Chef Julie. Let's explore an iconic dish today. From Japanese, Indian, or Italian to Polish or Turkish, the dumpling exists in most cultural cuisines. Call it a gyoza, a samosa, or a ravioli, a pierogi, or manti. It comes in different shapes and sizes, stuffed, boiled, or fried. Today, we will learn about one of the famous dumplings from the Ukraine and then prepare our very own. We'll be right back.
How can you save time and money when you shop? Get into the habit of buying your store's store brands. You get the same quality as national brand and save at the cash register. No apps, no coupons, just money in your pocket. Give store brands a try and smile your way through the supermarket.
Welcome back. So what's the history of dumplings? Recipes appear as far back as Roman texts, and it's known that Chinese dumplings are even older. They were originally designed to be a portable way of eating. They were handheld, and they were made with kitchen scraps or ingredients that were left lying around. They could also be frozen and saved to enjoy during the winter. Dumplings are available also in sweet and savory varieties. It's basically delicious ingredients wrapped in dough and prepared in many different ways, including frying, simmering, steaming, or boiling. Known to be eaten as a full meal or as a side dish too. So I was curious about the Ukrainian variety, the vareniki, and visited one of my favorite restaurants, Veselka. Let's have the owner, Jason Burchard, tell us about the history of Veselka and then dive into their kitchen to learn the art of making that delicious dumpling.
Tell me, this has been in your family since what year? And I'd love to hear a little bit about the history of the popularity of the vareniki in the East Village in New York and just in general as the flavors have changed.
So we've been here since 1954. I'm a third generation family member. The place was started by my grandfather in 1954. And this corner, it started off as a little soup stand, news stand. This building houses a Ukrainian Scout organization, which is a non-profit organization that my grandfather was a founding member of. So they had asked that the Scouts and they would teach Ukrainian language here on Saturdays upstairs, and they wanted some place to go to have some comfort food. It's been fun ever since.
So it is. It's like little Ukraine apparently on this corner. And by the way, for all of my New York viewers, Jason was responsible for turning this into a 24-hour spot, which is sort of like an insider thing in New York City. You come here to enjoy some delicious handmade vareniki at 3 or 4 in the morning whenever the mood strikes. Thank you so much for having us here today, Jason.
Thank you.
So we're here in the kitchen of Veselka to see how they make authentic Ukrainian vareniki. And I'm here with Chef Dima, who has graciously let us invade his kitchen. Thank you for having us.
Welcome in Veselka's kitchen.
So, Chef, I would love to hear, what are the traditional flavors of vareniki? And then give me a few of the fun seasonal ones.
Of course, traditional classic Ukrainian flavors, it's potato, sauerkraut, cheese, and probably meat. But on the menu we have around 10 different flavors, and all of them depends season. Let's say now it's plum season, we're making plum vareniki. Before we make peach vareniki, before summertime we're making lobster vareniki.
We're going to also talk through all of the steps it takes to make vareniki, and they're doing it all by hand. So what is the first step, the first thing that you have to do when you get started to make a new batch?
The first one is dough. You need to mix the dough, and the most important, dough should rest. Better if it's rest overnight.
What kind of dough is it? What are like the typical ingredients?
It's just oil, water, flour, some eggs. Then you make it nice piece of dough, like very thin.
I'm glad they're not doing this by hand. That would take a very long time.
And we just put it on the table. Use this knife. It's probably like 10 years old or maybe 20 years old knife. Then cut it like round pieces and fill it up with different fillings.
Cool. So the cheese has been prepared ahead and it's rolled out into little logs so that the ladies can pinch off the right amount before they stuff the dumplings, the vareniki. We're pressing it into a cool half moon shape. So these are traditionally served either boiled or fried. Here at Veselka, they parboil them and let them rest so they're ready to serve fresh to their customers. So Chef Dima, thank you so much for giving us an inside peek into how you make these. Thanks again for having us.
So did we make you hungry at home? I hope so, because I'm going to show you how to make your own Ukrainian-style vareniki dumplings from scratch using some really easy ingredients. And by the way, you don't even need to bring in any equipment to roll out the dough. What we're going to use instead are dumpling wrappers like this. You can find them in the freezer case at a lot of supermarkets, and if you can't find round, just buy the square, and you can either cut them into a circle or just fold them into triangles. Now here, I'm gonna show you how to make a sweet and a savory version. They're so fun to make in all with different kinds of fillings. The savory we're gonna do is a classic potato and cheese, and the sweet will be delicious for dessert. So let's get started with the savory. All you need is some mashed potatoes. You can have some that you made yourself at home, some leftover, or you can go to the supermarket to pick some up. And we're gonna add some cheese to it. I'm using goat cheese here. You can just add a little bit crumbled like this. You could also use feta cheese, even cream cheese. Cheddar would be delicious here too. It's just to add a little bit of tang to that potato filling. We'll stir it in, and then we're going to season the potatoes with some chives for a little light oniony flavor. You could use scallions here too. A little bit of parsley would be nice. Just season with a little salt and pepper because you really do want the flavors to jump. Now let's get filling. Start with a dumpling wrapper like this. Here's a handy little trick. If you have a cookie scoop, something along this size, it's about 2 teaspoons or so of filling. It's gonna make your job a lot easier. We saw how quickly they did it by hand, but this will speed it up for you at home. Just put it in the center. Now here's a tip. Dab a little bit of water on your finger to run around the edge. It's gonna help you seal up your dumpling. Pinch it to close, like this. So you see, these are so easy to make on your own at home. And to be honest, making them fresh like this, it really does make a difference versus buying the frozen kind. Plus, it's fun. You can play with so many different flavors. There are lots of different things that you can add. But potato and cheese, it's just such a classic and definitely very family friendly and crowd pleasing. So the garnishes that we're going to make, sour cream, you could use Greek yogurt, but we're also going to make some really nice caramelized onions to go with it. And there we go, they're all done. This is a fun one to get other people involved with, by the way. Kids love to assemble these. We've got them all made, and if you were making them ahead earlier in the day to cook later for dinner, I would cover them with some damp paper towel and wrap that in plastic wrap and keep it in the fridge. You could also, by the way, pop this whole baking sheet in the freezer to freeze them all, and then put them all in a baggie or in a storage container and keep them frozen for a later date. So now to make our sweet version, you do basically the same thing. You've got your dumpling wrapper. What I'm using here is some just cherry pie filling. You could use any kind of pie filling that you like or whatever you have on hand. You can do things seasonally. As we heard at Veselka, they even have little competitions where they come up with fun seasonal flavors. They do Thanksgiving leftover dumplings. They do really cool Super Bowl dumplings with buffalo chicken. So the sky's the limit, and hopefully we've inspired you too to have some fun and play with your different dumpling flavors. So here I've made a cherry dumpling, and you can just saute those in some butter and serve them with some sugar and cinnamon on top. Ice cream would be nice, or some sweetened cream. But again, have fun with your dumplings. Try Asian flavored fillings, Ukrainian fillings, whatever it is that you have on hand or that you think would be delicious for you and your family. And now we're starting with some melted butter in the pan, and we're gonna add our dumplings. The only thing to remember here is not to crowd the pan too much because they could stick together. So you'll work in batches. And they don't take long to cook. We're just gonna saute them for 3 or 4 minutes aside, just until the dumpling wrapper itself gets a little bit brown. The filling's already cooked, so we're not worried about that. So there we go. It is that simple to cook these. This is what we're looking for, nice and browned, a little bit crispy on the outside with some delicious extra flavor from the butter. So now they're ready to serve. Let's put our delicious caramelized onions on top. By the way, they shrink a lot while cooking, so go ahead and make extra. They go fast. Then next, traditionally and deliciously served with some sour cream too. We're gonna put this on the side so people can take it as they want it. Since we already chopped up some chives, why not? A pretty garnish never hurts. We're gonna just sprinkle some more chives on top for some color and some flavor. And now we are ready to eat. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the Store Brands USA YouTube channel. See you next month.